Yes, AI is probably going to take your job. All right. So, this is the 50th episode of Everyday AI. Thank you for joining me on this fun day. So, before we get into 50 facts, opinions, and hot takes on the state of AI, first, let's talk AI news. So, as a reminder, if you're joining us for the first time, this is a daily live stream podcast and free newsletter helping everyday people keep up with what's going on in the world of AI. So, let's quickly talk about the AI news and then get into some hot takes. All right, let's get after it. So, first, Gizmodo just talked about that they are starting to use generative AI, and obviously the staff are mad. So, Gizmodo is a popular tech blog, and they're following in the footsteps of other media publishers such as BuzzFeed and others who are starting to use generative AI in place of human writers. So, let's see how that plays out. Second news story of the day. So, a new New York law is going into effect that is requiring companies to disclose or just in some cases not even use AI when it comes to hiring. So many companies have been using AI in hiring. We actually talked about that even on the show on Friday. But this new New York law is one of the first in the US that is kind of requiring this level of disclosure, or in some cases, not even allowing AI to be used in hiring. All right. So, third story of the day, before we get into some hot takes. So, there is a global chips race going on. So, what does that even mean? Well, the EU and Japan right now are looking to partner on AI and chips. So, this is coming right after the United States late last week talked about possibly cutting off chip exports to China. So we're going to get into that, but we talk a lot about chips on this show and why and how does it affect the everyday person? Well, right now, whether we understand it or not, chips and producing these GPU chips for generative AI. So all of these large language models and all of these AI tools that you use, they require a lot of computing power, and that's these GPU chips. And we're going to get into this, but that's one of the biggest things that's driving the US economy right now. So that's the news. Let's get into some hot takes. So if you are joining us live, we have a couple people already. Feel free to drop a comment. Is AI going to take all of our jobs? Should AI be used in education? Is AI running the U.S. stock market? Let's see. So, thank you for those of you already joining us. Valerino saying, "Let's go." Thank you, Rastafa. Good morning. Happy holidays. Yes. In the U.S., we kind of have an extended long weekend here. So, with the 4th of July coming up tomorrow, but we're bringing you the hot takes today. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's go into 50 facts, opinions, and hot takes on the state of AI. So, if at any time you have a comment, drop it. Otherwise, I'm going to go fast and furious. So, the reason I'm doing this is I think that so many people have a misunderstanding of AI and what's happening. So, this is both half history, half hot takes. So, let's get after it. So before we do, as a reminder, go to youreverydayai.com. Sign up for our free daily newsletter. Check out, you're probably either listening to this on a podcast or live stream right now. So make sure you do that. All right, let's start at the top. AI will probably take your job or someone close to you. So if you remember that first day in college where a professor says, look to your left, look to your right, one of these people will not be here at the end of 4 years, or whatever that saying is. It's kind of going to be the same with AI and jobs. I'm putting that out there. I want to be real with the audience. AI is probably coming for a lot of sectors, a lot of jobs. It's that's the facts. So more on that in a bit. So even Goldman Sachs, so one of the leading financial institutions in the world, and we've talked about this on the show before, they predicted 300 million jobs will be lost or impacted by AI. All right. So when I talk about these things on the show, I'm not just making them up. I've experienced the power of generative AI for multiple years and what it can do. And there is just a huge misunderstanding of what it's capable of. So Goldman Sachs, even said it right there. 300 million jobs could be lost or impacted by AI. Thank you again, Audrey, joining the show. Yes, GPUs are running the show. All right, more hot takes. Let's go. Or actually, more history. So, more than half of all AI related updates you read on social media are probably wrong. It's very popular on social media to say this thing that AI won't replace your job. Someone using AI will. That's wrong. um, that's just something that people say to make you feel good. So let's actually talk about first, what is AI? So it's essentially when a computer can start to do something that only a human brain can do. All right. So we're getting into history, but it's not new. AI has actually been around since the 1950s. So quick lesson here. So there's the Turing test. So this was the first test to actually measure artificial intelligence. So this was a test literally in 1950 that was created that established this is what artificial intelligence is. And then we had the full first functioning AI lab in 1959. Why am I telling you all these boring facts? I actually think it's fascinating, if I'm being honest. If you don't know anything about AI, to think, oh, it's been around since 1950, and there was an AI lab in 1959 at MIT. It's very interesting, but it's also telling when we talk about the recent pace and I'd say the avalanche of attention toward AI. Also, here's a fun one, and if you're in the comments, let me know if you knew this or not. So ChatGPT wasn't the first AI chatbot. I'll take a 10-second coffee break here. Does anyone know the name of the first chatbot? Kevin, it's not Kevin, but Kevin, thank you for the comment. Appreciate someone speaking the truth. That's what I'm here for. All right. First chatbot was ELIZA. So it simulated a psychotherapist, and this was in 1965. So if we think that ChatGPT was impressive in 2022 when it debuted, imagine being alive in 1965 and seeing a chatbot, more or less, simulating a psychotherapist. Yes, Kevin. Kevin actually, there is a little delay there, but I think Kevin actually probably got ELIZA before I said it. All right, fact 40. AI has been widely used in business since the 1980s. So it wasn't just a lab project, right? So in the 1980s, we had what was called the expert systems boom. And this is essentially when all different types of specialized AI was being used in business. So, financial planning was a big one, healthcare, all over the spectrum. So AI, even in business, isn't new. It wasn't just something that was being cooked up at an MIT lab. So that begs the question, why is AI driving the stock market? Why is AI in every headline? Why is that, so prevalent now if it's been around since the 50s, if businesses have been using it since the 1980s? And here's even another, big one. Even since for 15 years, we've been having big companies making headlines using AI. So, IBM was beating world-class chess champions. We had self-driving cars showing off the capabilities, but it wasn't really until the 2010s and something called deep learning. So that's I can't accurately describe deep learning in, less than an hour, but let's just say it's when you can teach a computer model to think more like a human and train it on a data set. But it wasn't until deep learning came along that really opened up the door for how AI is used today. And I'm going to say that there's three big reasons for mass adoption right now. So before I talk about those, shout out Leonard. Thank you for joining the show. Make sure if you're listening to this on the podcast, click the LinkedIn post. It'll bring you there. Check out some amazing work that a lot of the people in the comments every day here on the Everyday AI Show are out there creating AI. Leonard's really pushing some boundaries. Love it. Aman, holding it down as well. So thank you guys for joining us on the show. And please, if you're listening on the podcast, join us live, 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So let's get back. 35. We're going to go fast. I promise. This isn't going to be an hour-long podcast, but let's talk the three big reasons now that this AI thing that's been floating around for 70 years, why it is at the top of our minds now. Three big reasons for mass adoption. This is the reason. Affordable computing. So when we talk about these expert booms in the 1980s, and even when we talk, in the early 2010s, computing was expensive. To be able to produce the power needed to have AI have applicable use cases in our everyday life, it was just too expensive. So a big thing now is affordable computing. Accessibility is another one, right? You used to have to literally almost be a computer scientist to understand or use AI up until probably about 10 years ago. It's not like that anymore. AI is very accessible. It's as easy as using a search engine, right? All right, so let's keep going. The last one is quality. We'll probably share about this in the newsletter today, so make sure you sign up, youreverydayai.com. But the quality of generative AI, especially, Midjourney is a very popular text to image. Obviously, ChatGPT or the GPT technology is very popular in content creation and so many other things. But when you look at the first iterations of even just these two, and to look at, as an example, Midjourney from, version 3 to now where we are, I think version 5.2, you can't even fathom how far these technologies have come and how much they've improved in the last 6 to 9 months. That is why we are talking about them so much, because the GPT technology is able to create writing better than the best human writers. I've been getting paid to write for 20 years, and GPT is better than me at writing. I'll just say that. Same thing with image generation. What you can create in a tool like Midjourney, in a tool like DALL-E, Stable Diffusion, all these generative text to image technologies, mind blowing. It would take an artist or a photographer, many hours, sometimes days, to create what you can create in seconds using generative AI. All right. So Dr. Castro is saying, crazy that only 20% of people have heard of Midjourney. Yeah, it's actually wild how how few people, even outside of ChatGPT, how few people are aware of just generative AI and this technology. So yes, it's crazy, and especially how prevalent it is. So again, those three things that I think are really pushing AI. So from 1950s until, hey, why are we only talking about it in 2022 and beyond? It is those three things. It's more affordable, it's more accessible, and the quality is better. All right, let's keep going. So hot take / history lesson 31. The biggest breakthroughs, like we talked about recently, are in generative AI and large language models. So again, what's a large language model? But that's essentially what GPT is. It's a data set trained on, I'll have to look up how many parameters, but it's trained on just the entire internet. Uh, so there are, let's see here, I think 170 trillion parameters that GPT is trained on. So think, if something existed on the internet before September 2021, there's a good chance that large language models like GPT-4 understand it and can use it. So that's another reason why AI is kind of more booming now. Again, this stuff has been around for decades. All right. Like we talked about, GPT-3, I think, was kind of the start of this. So I think that most people hadn't heard or used, the everyday person really didn't start hearing about AI until ChatGPT, which was released in 2022, I believe, November. Here's the thing. I've been using this GPT technology essentially since it came out. I think it was late 2020. You had tools like some early tools we were using, Headlime. There was CopyAI. There was Writesonic, Jasper, Jarvis. So many initial tools that started this GPT had been around for multiple years. So, something that we talk about in our free PPP training, I know I owe a couple of you links, but if you want access to that training, we don't sell anything. Just type PPP in the comments. I'll shoot it over to you. But that's one of the things we talk about is this technology has been around for so long, and it's just being misused. People don't really fully understand how to use the technology. We're going to go through fast. So this, again, we talked about that this tech was popularized by these GPT-3 products. All right, so that's it for the history. Drop me a comment. Did anything in the history lesson shock you? And thank you for all of you that are tuning in. If you're listening on the podcast, this is where I should have a little ad, but instead, I'm going to take a sip of water. All right, and we're going to transition from history to hot takes. So we're halfway through. Here we go. Hot take 26 or hot take 1. AI is 100% better than your tasks than you are. Okay? I'm not saying your job, but your tasks. Okay? I share about this all the time. I've spent more than 10,000 hours writing. I've probably spent, 4,000 hours taking photos and videos, thousands of hours researching design. AI is better than those tasks than me. If you know how to use it correctly, if you're using the right application at the right time, I'm sorry. If you're listening to this, if you break down your tasks, if there is an AI that is covering those skills, which there probably is, it is better than those tasks than you. All right. Simple as that. 25, the biggest lie about AI right now, we kind of talked about this, is saying AI won't take your job. Someone using AI will. That's a lie. Kind of how I started the show with the example of look to your left, look to your right. One of these people will not have their job soon because of AI. AI is not a one-to-one job replacement. That's what people are talking about. That's not how AI works. I've given this example before, but for those of you maybe new to the show, I have a company called Accelerant Agency. So we do digital strategy for small businesses. One of my first clients, this is before GPT technology. We were content strategists and, just all around working with a team of more than 20 writers, very talented writers. And we were driving their content strategy, SEO, all that good stuff. So there was more than 20 humans involved. If we had the GPT technology, we could have gotten probably as much or more for the client if this technology existed, and we would have only needed 4 people, and we probably would have been able to double the output. So AI is not a one-to-one replacement. And I'm not just talking about copywriting, researching, art, and design. This goes all over the place. AI is not one-to-one. Let's keep going with the hot takes. Yes. Leonard says AI is a job like a computer. It should be. Yes. Thank you for your comments so far, guys. Keep them coming. If you don't agree with one of my hot takes, let me know. Let's talk about it. All right. Hot take. ChatGPT is making us all dumb. All right. I'll say it. It is, because it is so smart. It is, I think, making us all dumb. If you are using ChatGPT to its fullest extent, which I am. A lot of times I start my day with, giving ChatGPT 10 YouTube videos, a bunch of PDFs, a bunch of links, and saying, summarize all this for me, right? So even how I'm using it, I'm ingesting way more information, but I don't know if I'm learning it at the level that I should be. So I think ChatGPT either is making us all dumb or will. So that's just something to keep in mind, that we still have to be adamant about how we learn and how we ingest information, because AI is making it so much easier. So Rastafah says, I disagree. You have to get smarter to engage. Yes, it all depends on how you're using the technology, but it does have the capability to make us all dumb. And I haven't got into hot takes yet on AI and education. So next, knowing ChatGPT will become an essential job skill. Okay? Essential. I'm going to say by 2024. If you don't have a working knowledge of ChatGPT, it may be hard for you to get a job. Let's just say, again, I know there's outliers, right? Jobs where, ChatGPT, if you're doing manual labor, but if you have a desk job and if you don't know how to speak GPT by 2024, I think it's going to be hard for you to maybe get a job or grow in your career. It's literally like using the internet, but more important. So if you don't know, you need to know. All right. Let's keep it with the hot takes. Mostly everyone uses ChatGPT like Google, and that's wrong. You're not using ChatGPT correctly. Copy and paste prompting is mostly garbage. Yes, all of those posts you see on social media, these 22 prompts will save you 16 hours a day. They're just trying to sell you something. Those copy and paste prompts are mostly garbage compared to if you were using ChatGPT correctly, how it was made to be used. So it's something we talk about in our PPP course. So drop PPP right now in the comments. I'll send it to you. I know I owe it to a couple of you, but you need to use ChatGPT is like an assistant. It's like an employee. You don't just copy and paste something. You train them up and you give them the tools and the resources, and then they will perform accordingly. Let's keep it. Well, I just said that. You don't know how to use ChatGPT. We don't even need to talk about that. All right, next hot take. Generative AI is the most disruptive technology since the internet. And it may become even more disruptive, I think. When the internet came out, it's obviously groundbreaking, right? I remember having to read multiple encyclopedias to find the answer to one question. So the internet obviously brings the world of information to our fingertips. ChatGPT allows us to process information like a supercomputer because that is what it is. So let's keep it going with the hot takes. Not spending $20 on ChatGPT Plus is a waste of your money. How does that even make sense? Not only is it a waste of your time, it's a waste of your money. The difference, I say this all the time, the difference between the free version of ChatGPT and the paid version, the free version is a flip phone. The paid version is the newest iPhone. It's the next iPhone or the next smartphone. Yes, they can both make calls, but one is not comparable to the other. So if you are not, I'm not paid by ChatGPT, right? But if you are not using the paid version, you are wasting your time. 15. Here we go. The top 15 hot takes. Almost every high school and above student is using ChatGPT. Parents, if you think your kids aren't using it, they are. Teachers, professors, if you think you're banning it, you're not. All students are using it, period. Another one, hot take. Here we go. Higher ed in the US is dropping the ball on AI and ChatGPT. I don't know why. There's the famous story of the University of Texas professor that failed everyone because he said, "Oh, you're all using it," and I asked ChatGPT if this text was ChatGPT. Number one, that's not how it works. We'll talk about that here in a second. But number two, higher education should be encouraging, almost requiring it. That's what next hot take. ChatGPT, Bard, etc., should be required in school, right? I talk about this. If I was teaching a class, we would have a 10, 20-page paper due every single day about a different topic because that forces you how to learn and how to use ChatGPT, right? So that's just the reality. I'm sorry if you're in academia and you don't agree with me, but that's the reality. Students are using it. We should be encouraging them. All right. Speaking of, hot take 12. We only got 11 more. AI content detectors do not consistently work. They don't. There are some that work better than others. Our team spent a couple months ago, we spent a full day putting every single content detector out there to the test. We'll have to find that. Maybe we'll share about it, but they don't work. All these content detectors do is they look for commonalities. That's what it is. That's all it is. So you can copy and paste something from ChatGPT. If you know what you're doing, change 10 words out of 1,000 and it's not going to be detected. It can come from, 100% AI, change 10 words out of 1,000, 1% AI. Same thing. And we did these tests, something I wrote, and then I changed a bunch of it to say, all right, here's how ChatGPT goes. So it goes from 1% AI to 99%. So these AI content detectors, they don't work. 11, there will be massive economic impact because of AI. So 10. Sam Altman actually said this. So Sam Altman is the CEO of OpenAI. So that is the ChatGPT parent company. So he said his two main concerns with this technology were disinformation and economic shock. I talk about this on the show probably every other week because I think it's important and still no one's talking about it. Those two things, I mean, we're going to see them play out here, I think now, especially over the next 15 months. And here's why. Hot take 9, it'll soon become impossible to tell AI generated content from human created. Writing, I think it's already nearly impossible if you know how to use these tools correctly. But imagery, video, I mean, images are probably almost there. If you haven't checked out Midjourney, what version are we on now? 5.2. Good luck. I've taken probably 500,000 photos in my life. DSLR, high-end photography. It's hard for me to tell. It's extremely hard, and I've spent thousands of hours editing. It is hard to tell if you have a good prompt and if you're using the technology correctly. It's almost impossible to tell. All right, here we go. Hot take 8. The U.S. economy is reliant on tech and AI stocks. All right. One of the only reasons why I think we aren't in a full-blown recession here in the US is because of the performance of these AI stocks. And what we talked about in the beginning of the show is chips. Okay. We're going to talk more about GPU chips as we go on. So right here, GPUs are the new gold. All right. If you are looking at the market and companies like NVIDIA, these big tech companies that are making chips, they are controlling for a good part how our economy is functioning, because the other big companies pushing our economy, so Alphabet, which is Google parent company, Meta, which is Facebook, Instagram parent company, your IBMs, all the companies that are pushing everything, they are reliant on these GPU chips. They are the new gold. Again, like we talked about, when we talk about cutting access to other countries, that's a big topic of discussion right now, is saying like, hey, should we ban or limit exports of these chips to other countries? Because it is going to become like a natural resource, like gold, like water, like medicine. These chips, at least right now, until other companies and other countries can keep up or surpass what we're doing here in the US, until that point, it is the new gold right now. All right. Yes, Leonard, not just chips, but the jobs AI is creating. Exactly. But so many of these companies are reliant on these chips. And without them, it is hard. It is hard for them to do this. Sorry, I know there's a lot of comments coming in. I didn't get to them all. Please share data on content detectors. I'll have to dig it up. This is from a spreadsheet from, probably like April from a long time ago. Dr. Castro, some education institutes will be replaced with YouTube College. Yes, Khan Academy, 100% agree. Yeah, I think if universities don't keep up, online programs will be just as impactful, maybe more. All right, let's keep it going. We have a couple more. Our top 6 hot takes with AI. Again, the 50th edition, the 50th episode of Your Everyday AI. So top 6, here we go. Personal AI assistants will be the new norm. I'm pretty sure I shared about this on LinkedIn maybe like a year ago. I see this happening probably sometime next year, where it's normal for you to have a customized, bespoke AI agent that's you start your day with. So, we'll see. I'm pretty excited for the Windows Copilot, where they're working AI into the actual operating system, not into, logging onto a website or something like that, but having a smart AI that is inside your computer, inside your operating system, and it follows you across all of your tasks. That's the first iteration of this. All right, here we go. Top 5 hot takes. Here we go. Number 5, the US is unlikely to make any major laws regarding AI. So that's a lot of news right now. What the EU is doing, China, all of these other countries are coming up with rules, laws, and regulations. I don't think the US is going to. One, I don't think our leaders fully understand AI. If you follow US politics at all, you should go back and watch some questioning when Facebook executives or something have to go to Congress, and the questions that they get asked will show to it goes to tell you that our elected leaders do not fully understand technology, especially not AI. And right now, it is pushing our economy. Hot take 4: AI will take center stage in the 2024 U.S. presidential election. We've already started to see that so far. There's already been multiple ads come out where major parties are using generative AI. So there's been stories of course, they're using it to write the commercials, but the actual imagery, they're using fake images as well. So it's going to take center stage. Hot take number 3: the AI hype isn't overblown. It's actually grossly underestimated. All right. So if you think that this is the height of the AI boom or the AI hype, it's not. This is the beginning. All right, number 2: access to AI will become a global debate. Okay. Just like we talk about access to healthcare, we talk about access to education. Access to AI will become a global debate. I think we're already starting to see it. I think it's started to pick up, especially the last couple of weeks, as we've started to view, GPUs and just the AI technology as more of an asset on a country by country basis. It's going to be interesting how this plays out, but I think it's going to become a global debate. And last but not least, the last hot take: if you're not learning AI right now, you're asking to be replaced. Again, there's of course certain jobs where AI is maybe taking longer, but if you are working at a desk in front of a computer, and if you're not learning the basics of AI right now, you are asking to be replaced. Okay, so this is as if 20 years ago you were saying, I'm not going to use search engines, right? It's the same thing, but probably exponentially more important. I'm going to repeat this one more time. If you're not learning AI right now, you're asking to be replaced. All right. That was a lot. This was a long live stream, a long podcast, but I wanted to take a look back at some of the lessons that I've learned personally over our last 50 episodes, having some very smart people on the show and learning from them. I thought I owed it to you people out there joining us live on LinkedIn, joining us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, reading on the website, reading the newsletter, to take a look back. We started this everyday AI project about 3 months ago. So taking a look back and saying, this is the state of AI. This is what's important right now in the AI industry, in the AI sector. But if you feel overwhelmed, that's okay. It can be overwhelming, right? How quickly AI is changing the landscape, especially here in the US. And I understand that. Even as someone that's spending hours a day keeping up, for our newsletter, because you can spend 10 hours a day trying to keep up with AI and you're still going to feel left behind. So number 1, subscribe to our newsletter. Go to youreverydayai.com. It's a free newsletter. Read that. Takes 6-7 minutes a day to read it. We're keeping you up to date with everything that matters in AI. So you can stay ahead in your career. You can keep your company going forward. So number 1, take advantage of everyday AI. Number 2, you have to be using it. Even if you're just starting to replace Google search with a Bing chat or with ChatGPT search, that's great. Everyone should be using some sort of generative AI, even if it's simple, starting to replace Google search. You need to be doing that. And last but not least, you need to be learning. I think learning right now is as important, at least as it's been, I think, in my lifetime. Things, and not just in the AI space, but AI is impacting every single major sector here in the US, from the financial sector to healthcare to business administration, everything. The rule books are getting rewritten at a much faster pace than they ever have before, largely because of AI. So I hope this was helpful for you all. I know this is a bit longer of an episode, but thank you for tuning in. So please go to youreverydayai.com. Subscribe to the free daily newsletter. We won't see you tomorrow. So happy 4th of July to US listeners, and we will see you back Wednesday and every day after that on Everyday AI. Thanks.